Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches Nazir Daf Nun Tes. We are holding on Nun Ches Amid Beis at 5 lines from the bottom of the Amid. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yehuda. So in today's Daf, at least the first half, we'll discuss the question of whether a person may remove body hair from personal areas and whether it is considered an Isser. Which Isser can it be? The pasuk says, "La yilbash gever simlas isha." A man should not dress, beautify himself as a woman. And the question is whether this type of practice, removing body hair, which is a woman's thing, constitutes the Isser of la yilbash gever simlas isha. So at the end of yesterday's daf, Rav told us it's mutter, but the Gemara concluded Rav was speaking when a scissors were used, which is not the standard procedure, which is typically done with usually it's removed with a razor or with a blade. So that is not considered the Isser of Lo Yilbash. It is not the way an Isha would do it, and therefore Rav maintained that it's totally mutter, as opposed to using a razor, which is considered the derech of Nashim, would be an Isser. Here comes the Gemara, which is chaylik. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says, even doing it in that manner, even doing it with a misparayim ke'in tar, using his scissors and cutting it, all the way at the skin. So although it doesn't have the same, it's not a complete removal like a razor would do, but it's still asur midrabanan. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Hamaver beis hashechi beis erva. If one removes body hair from the armpit area, from the erva area, which is derech noshim, loike, he will get malchus on account of the lav of lo yilbash gever simlas isha, because he's emulating the way of a woman by beautifying himself in this manner. Meisvei, listen to this brisa which says there is no malchus. This doesn't constitute the lav of lo yilbash. Havara seyar, removal of body hair in this manner. It doesn't constitute an Isser Torah. It's only Asur Midrabanan. This is a kash on Rabbi Yehuda, who said that when one does this, he gets malchus loike, which indicates Isser Torah. The answer is my loike, na midikama midrabanan. Although Rabbi Yehuda said loike, he means malchus mardus, which means it's sort of like a punishment, midrabanan. But min Torah there is no malchus, because technically he was not over a lav min Torah. It doesn't constitute lo yilbash. That's only when it's visible and it's meant to confuse people. We'll see in the Gemara later. Now Taisus points out that it's mashma that Rabbi Yehuda is chaylik on Rav. In contrast to Rav, who said the Isser is only with a tar, with a razor, complete removal. Misparayim is mutter. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. Even misparayim, even by way of scissors or other manners, would be asur midrabanan. So according to this first version of Rabbi Yehuda, havoras seyar, removal of hair in this manner, constitutes an Isser midrabanan. There's another version of Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yehuda. It is an Isser Torah. Hamaver beis hashechi beis erva. You know what happens? Loike mishum lo yilbash gever simlas isha, because he's emulating the way of an isha by beautifying himself in this manner. Meisvei, we have a kasha from the brisa that we just learned. It's not min Torah. Havara seir eino midivrei Torah, ela midivrei sefer. That's a kash on Rabbi Yehuda, who says that there is an Isser Torah. The answer is Huda Amar Kehaitana. Actually, it's a machlekes tanoim, and Rabbi Yehuda was following the shita that holds that it's a lav min Torah, which generates malchus. This on you have a machlekes and a brisa. Hamaver beis hashechi or beis erva hareza over. Mishum lo yilbash gever simlas isha. So this Tana, this Braisa, considers it an Isser Torah, and there is Malchus. And Rabbi Yehuda, in the second version, matches this Tana, that there's a lav min Torah. Asks the Gemara, what happened to the other Tana, the Tana Kama, the first Tana, who considered this only midrabanan? What about the pasuk? Haylo yilbash gever ma'idorish bey. What does he apply the pasuk to, if not for this type of behavior? The answer is something which is apparent, visible, something on the outside, dressing that way, presenting yourself that way, but something personal and internal is not included. Look at the Sanya. He applies the pasuk to the following: kli gever al isha. A man should not wear garments of an isha. My Talmud Leimer. Now, what exactly is this pasuk referring to? What exactly is he doing here? If it's just a question of a man wearing a woman's garment, or the other way around, an isha wearing the simla of an ish, that's not really what the pasuk is referring to, because what's he doing? He's putting on a woman's garment. The pasuk concludes with the words to'evahi. It's domination. It's terrible. It creates pitfall. Just because he dons a woman's garment doesn't create to'eva. Rather, we're speaking as follows. He's using it as a means to mingle with women. Rather, the pasuk is warning against presenting like a woman, dressing up like a woman. He'll sit between the women and interact with them. That's to'evahi. Or the other way around, the pasuk warns an isha against dressing up like a man, and then go sit between the men. So according to this Tana, it's clear that the pasuk, which warns against wearing the other gender's clothing, and concludes with the words Te'evas Hashem, is referring to a specific situation where he's using this dressing up to create Te'eva. But something personal, Havora, Seir, in private, that's not included. Likewise, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Eimer, another manner, another aspect of this Isser, from where do we learn that an Isha shouldn't go out to war with a weapon? It's a man's thing to fight in battle. So from the first part we learn that kli gever, and a weapon, should not be worn by an isha. Well, in the situation of sakana, there's a whole discussion. Moshe Feinstein, the tshuva bad, but your standard, typical situation does not allow for an isha to go to battle to wear a klei zayin like an ish. And likewise, yilbash gever similas isha means shalay yisaken ish bitikuna isha. A man should not beautify himself and fix himself up like an isha. So bottom line is, according to these Tanaim, we're speaking about things which are visible, things which are outward presentations. But when it comes to havoras seir, body hair removal, which is internal, which is personal, according to this Tana at least, it's not included in the Isser. So we have Machlekes Tanaim. Havoras seir, is it an Isser Midaraisa? According to one Tana, yes, that's included in Le'ilbash. According to the other Tana, it's not. And in fact, the two Lishonos of Rabbi Yehuda correspond to these two Tanaim. Hamar of Nachman, here's a Chiddush. Ben Nazir, in the case of a Nazir who's removing all his Sar HaRoish, right, all the hair on his head, that's like a complete comprehensive hair removal. Mutter, he can even go and remove the Sar Beis HaShechim, Beis Erva. It's not called Noi and Tikkun, he's not beautifying, because he's doing a complete cleanup. That's a Chiddush of Nachman. It's totally mutter, but the Gemara this agrees with him. Even in this case, it would not be permissible. Now the Gemara will bring a few stories related to these halachas. Rabbanan told Rab Shimon bar Abba, Chazina leil Rabbi Yehuda the last day. We noticed that Rabbi Yehuda is missing the armpit hair. What happened? Amar he says, oh, it's an age thing. Machmas zikna nashu. They shed because of his advanced age, but not as a result of conscious removal. There was this fellow who transgressed an Isser, and he was liable to Malchus. They were going to give him lashes. Kamed Rav Ami in the Beis Medrash, in the Beis Din of Rav Ami. So when they prepared him for the Malchus, they discovered Igloi Beis HaShechi. So his armpit area was revealed, and they noticed Chazid Lo Megalech. They see that he's an observant Jew. He keeps to the law. He doesn't remove his hair. So Rav Ami was impressed. Amr Lahain Rav Ami tells him, Shivku, leave him alone. Don't hit him. He's a good guy. Dein min Chavrayahu. He's one of ours. We don't have to give him Malchus. He's one off. He made a mistake, but he's on the whole he conforms. Rav asks Rabbi Chia, Ma'ol Galeach, is one allowed to remove these hairs? Amarle also, he says, not allowed. Amarle, he says to him, what's just going to grow and grow out of control? I have to trim it. Amarle, he responds to him, Bar Pachsi. He says, he called him it was a complimentary title, a son of a Talmud Chacham. Zman Yishlei, not to worry. It has a certain limit. Kozman shu gadol neisher. It's not like the hair on one's head that just, if left unchecked, just grows and grows out of control. These types of body hairs, Hashem made that gets to a certain point and it just sheds. Don't worry about trimming it. Another question. Mahu lochach. Is one allowed to actually scrape the hair manually so that it sheds? Omar, lay also no, even in this manner it would be us. The big dima. What about using the beged to do so? Amar muta. In this case, it's muta because it's not the derech of women to remove their hair in this manner. It's not a very efficient way of doing it. There's another version of this discussion, which was related to a totally different topic. Actually, a tefillah question. He asked him, "B'tefillah, b'bigdei mai." When one is in the middle of davening, so one is meant to refrain from touching, covered areas. What about using one's garment to scratch to these areas? Is that okay? Amalei also, he says, even in this manner it would be us, even though he's not coming in contact with the skin. For less hilchas say, but the Gemara concludes the halacha l'maisa is not so because there's no actual skin contact. There's no problem. Okay, so in conclusion, removal of body hair, which is typically considered derech nosha, is that mutar for a man? The Gemara tells us it's aser, whether min ha'torah or midrabanan. What about doing it with a misbarayim? Not the most efficient way of removal, scissors, etc. The machlekes between Rab who's matir, Rabbi Yehuda says it's aser midrabanan. Interestingly enough, Tesis says that the isser is only when you're trying to enhance your looks, etc. But if it's just to protect yourself from tsar, etc., then it would not be considered lo yilbash. He says Mkain, this is 2 lines from the bottom. Mkain amastakel be'mare, looking in a mirror in order to facilitate a haircut, etc. To avoid harming oneself, Udi Motor, and brings from his Rabbi Shmuel, when he would cut his hair, he would use a mirror. And the it's brought down that these halachas are really culture-related, generational. It's a matter of what's done in that makim, in that culture. Something which is considered a women's thing, then it would be asur. Something which is not exclusively a women's thing would be mutter. Okay, let's go back to the Mishnah here. Meis echad mehem. Back to the case mentioned in the beginning of the parak. We had two people walking along the road, and there was a suffix. Perhaps one of them, these are two Nazirim, one of them perhaps became tummy. We don't know which one. So we had a whole system of how to solve the problem. They join together, they bring karbanos, and they sort of condition it. Well, if I'm tummy, this is mine, this is yours. What if meis echad mehem, one of these two fellows passed away? So there's only one fellow left. No, he doesn't know what he is. Am I a Nazir tar? Am I a Nazir tummy? And I don't have somebody else to work with, to partner with, to condition with. What do we do now? Rabbi Yehuda, look, get yourself a partner. Yivakish echad menashe. Go find someone in the street. Go find a friend. Sheyidor connected with Nazir, who will sort of connect with him and be willing to accept Nazirus upon himself, right, as an accomplice, so you can work it out together and, do the whole Tanai back and forth, and this way you can bring the karbanis and ultimately become, Yaitse your Nazirus properly. So basically, he gets somebody out there to join him. And he says like this: Im tamei hayisi. If I'm the one who was really tummy way back then, okay, so I have to wait until I cleanse myself, and then I can do the Nazirus Tahara. Hariyata Nazir Mayad. So then, in that case, you are now committing to being a Nazir. Okay, you're a Nazir right now. That's step one. Vim Tar Hayisi. On the other hand, if I was really Tahar to begin with, so then I don't need you to be a Nazir now, because I'm going to bring the karbanas after 30 days for my Nazirus Tahara. Rather, Hariyata Nazir Achash Leishim Yen. You're committing to being a Nazir after 30 days. And now they march on this path together. Aside from Shleishim Yaim, they count 30 days without cutting hair, etc. At the end of which, they bring one set of karbanis, umivin karban tuma. Right, they bring karbanis for another tummy, for karban tahara, and also they bring the karbanis of another tahar. And what do? V'aymer. And this fellow now says, let's call him Ruvain. Ruvain was the one who was way back when with his friend walking on the road, and now his friend passed away, so he's standing on his own. He's be'atzmai, and now he finds a friend out there, Levi, who is willing to come along and work it out with him. So now they counted 30 days. V'aymer, and Reuben turns to Levi. Imani yo atame. If I was really the one that was tummy, so now I concluded 30 days and I can bring my karbanis tuma. Karban tuma shali. The reason why they have to wait 30 days is because if we know that he's tummy, then he just shaves right away, but we don't know if he's tummy, so he has to wait 30 days just in case he's tar. But at the end of the 30, he can certainly do the glachas. And he says, if I'm really the one that was tummy, imani yo tummy, karban tuma shali, so the karbanis tuma are mine, the karban tar shalcha. But in that case, you had committed to being a Nazir right away, and now you're done. You're a Nazirus after 30. Karbanis tahara belong to you. You're done. On the other hand, v'imani yo tar, if I was really tar, then now I've done my Nazirus properly. Karban tahara shali, I get the karbanis tahara. The karban tumah misafik, and the karban tumah we're going to bring anyways, because we don't know. So that's it. So we're done the first stage of this process. Then another 30 days. They wait another 30 days without cutting their hair. We bring karban tahara. They bring one set of karbanis for another tar. Vaymer, once again, Reuven gets up and says, Imani ya tummy. If I'm the one that was tummy to begin with, Imani ya tummy. So then karban tuma shali, the karbanis tuma that we brought 30 days ago were mine. The karban tahara shalcha, and the karbanis tahara that we brought then were yours. And you're done. And you were done 30 days ago. But then I needed to keep another 30 for my Nazirus Tahara. Was that karban taharasi? In fact, this karban now is mine. But if I was really Tahar to begin with, karban Tahara shali. So then 30 days ago, when we brought the karban Tahara, it belonged to me, because you were not yet a Nazir. The karban tumah was suffix, and the karban tumah that we brought down was just, on account of the suffix. and then you became a Nazir 30 days ago, v'zeu karban tarascha, in which case the karbanos tahara now belong to you. So this way he covers all possibilities. He's done his Nazirus. They're both happy to go home. Done. Hamali ben Zayma. Ben Zayma responds to Rabbi Yeshua. It's a very elaborate system that can't theoretically work, but practically. Who's going to be convinced by this fellow? Who's going to come along? She'either connect the Nazir, who's going to be willing to join him and being a Nazir? Who wants to be a Nazir? It's not a practical solution. I'll give you a more practical solution. Forget about finding people. Do it yourself. Look after yourself by yourself. Rather, Reuven, the sole surviving member of this group, waits 30 days, brings a chatas ha'oif, which is typically part of the karbanes tuma, v'oilas behema, which is for the karban tahara. He needs at least one karban to allow his teglachas, right? So he brings these two. V'ayman, he says, Im tami ha'yisi, if I was the one that was really tummy, then a chatas mechayvasi, the chatas ha'oif is for my chayva, for my karban tuma. V'oilan adav, and the oilas behema that I'm bringing is not really needed, it's just a donation. Vim Torah, you see, and if I was really Torah to begin with, I didn't need karbanis tuma, then I'm going to shave now on account of the oila, which is required. This is my karban tahara. The chatas masafik, and the chatas bird is just being brought because of safik. You're allowed to do that. Even when you have a safik, you can bring a chatas saif. So basically, if in fact he was really Torah, the oila, the oilas behema, is already taken care of. The first of the three karbanis tahara, oila, chatas, and ishlam. So oila was done. He waits another 30 days, shaves, or maybe karban tahara, and brings the rest. He brings another set of karbanis tahara, chatas, oila, and shlamim, all behemoths, or maybe karban tahara. And he says like this: Im tamei yisi, if I was tamei to begin with, ha'oila rishayin nadava, so the oilas behemoth of then was just a donation. And the oila now is the required carbon. But if I was really Torah to begin with, so then I already brought the oila then, I'm bringing the rest now. The oilas behema of 30 days ago was required, was the chayva. And the oila I'm bringing now, again, is not really required, it's just an adava. And the rest of the animals, the chatas and the shlamim, that's the rest of my set. Vizu shar karbani. So you can just accomplish this on his own without bringing any friends and accomplices. Rabbi Yeshua, the problem with this is because he's splitting his karbanis. Suppose he was really tahar all along. So after 30 days he brings the oilas behema, that gets checked off. And then it's only 30 days later that he brings the rest, the chatas and the shlamim. Maybe karbanis l'chatzoim. He's splitting the karbanis, which is not optimal. So better do it in the other manner, which you get somebody with you, etc., etc. Despite this argument of Rabbi Yeshua of splitting karbanis, Chachamim agreed with Ben Zayma. Then, in fact, there's no issue. You can bring the karbanis l'chatzoim, and practically, that's really the only way to do it. Nobody's going to come along with his plan. And in fact, the Gemara asks of Elaisi, so what's wrong with bringing karbanis l'chatzoim? Amar Vidam Shmuel, you're right. Amar Rabbi Yeshua, Ela l'chadid ba'es haTalmidim. Listen to this, Rabbi Yeshua wasn't really adamant about this concern. It was just something that he presented to engender discussion and debate amongst the students. But in reality, he agrees that splitting the karbanis, bringing it, in stages, is not really an issue. The Mefarish brings, he's trying to encourage discussion, encourage students to speak up and not be embarrassed. Interesting shot here in the Mefarish. The role of a Rebbe is to get the kids into it, to get the Talmidim asking and curious, and to overcome their inhibitions and get them going. So that was the point of his argument. What are you doing, Chatzai? And he wanted to hear what the Talmidim are going to respond. But really, he was okay with bringing it in stages. Amar of Nachman, I have another problem with the Rabbi Yeshua's system. Ma'ila avid le Rabbi Yeshua ledakei de lo lisru. You see, according to Rabbi Yeshua's system, we have two people standing side by side and joined together. Now, after 30 days, right, the the first set of 30. They'll bring the carbon, and since we're not sure whose carbon it is, then they both have to do the tnufa, right? Waving it back and forth. And they have to shave, right? So it takes a while, because they're going to bring the carbon, do the zrika, and they're going to do tiglachas, and then go ahead and take care of the carbon and do the tenufa, which is a good chance that the dake, the intestines, which are very prone to spoilage, will spoil by that time. So basically, Rav Nachman was pointing out that there's a disadvantage to Rabbi Shua's system of getting too many people involved, because it can lead to spoilage of the carbon itself. Interesting point. Okay, so in summation, what did we learn today? Lo yilbash, one is not meant to present as an isha. Tayevahi, the Gemara says specifically in a case where he's mingling and she's mingling, that's certainly a big problem. And we had another shaila regarding havoras seir, removal of body hair in private areas, which is the tikkunei isha, according to one Tana. In fact, this is also included in Layilbash. It would be an Isser Torah. According to the other Shita, it's only Isser Mide Rabbanan. We had this fellow who was a Safek Nazir Tamei. We had two approaches. Either he got somebody to join him and they work it out, or he works it out by himself. And Rabbi Shua's Taina of Chatzoin was only presented to the Talmidim to be mechaded, as a Talmidim, to encourage them to get themselves involved in the sugya. Maybe be zeicha to do the same and enjoy much siyata d'shmaya in our learning. Pesuras Tevis.